The noise, that squeaking, has been driving me nuts, and I'll explain a little bit more about what I'm up to. I bought this truck because my old truck drowned in the Helene hurricane. There was water all over the place, and my truck was parked over where that Corvette is parked right now, and the water came up over the headlight, so that gives you an indication of how much water there was here. Here's the house. It came up to the bottom of that window, and it filled the house. So anyway, I replaced the truck, and I bought this truck. It's a really handsome GMC Sierra 2013, but it had a lot of mileage on it, and I didn't notice the noises coming from it when I bought it. But since then, I have replaced the upper and lower control arms on both sides in the front, thinking that that was it. I replaced the bushings on the sway bar, which I thought that was it. And the last of it is, this is the last strut that I have to install. This is a combination. There's springs and a shock absorber in the center. It comes in as a unit, which is great. And this is aftermarket. They weren't that expensive. They're a pair of them are around $200. So anyway, that's what I'm doing today. And I'll point out some of the stuff that I ran into during the changing of the control arms. There's a lot of good videos on YouTube already about how to do all that stuff, so I'm just going to point out the things that I know. All right, I'll be back in a minute. This is the array of tools. This is a set of large wrenches from Harbor Freight. I don't know, it was $50, plus you can usually get a coupon for stuff like this, but these go all the way from small, like maybe 10 millimeter, all the way up to 32 millimeter, and they work for what you need. I mean, it's just homeowner stuff for me. This is a kit from Home Depot. This is a Husky brand. I've had it for years. It has a lot of the smaller size stuff. I added some ratcheting wrenches, but they also got damaged in the flood, so they don't work so well anymore. They occasionally. These are a wider range of impact sockets. You don't have to get these, but they have a full range of sizes, and that was only about $30 for that whole case of them. This is a Harbor Freight impact gun, but this is a heavy duty sucker. It's got a lot of power, but it's big, so it doesn't fit in a lot of places, but it's great for lugs and wherever you can fit it, you know, and with the impact side. And then some miscellaneous tools. There's an impact driver there for smaller stuff wherever you can fit it. Some pry bars and miscellaneous hand tools. So this is the stuff that you need, and this is for the job today. This is a sway bar link. That's also going in brand new. That's the only component left to do that hasn't been done that's new. So I just put one in over here, and then the two things are the sway bar link and the strut. So anyway, okay, this is with the wheel. Whoops, this is with the wheel off. In order to do the upper control arm, this is there's only this is the upper control arm here. And when you buy these from Moog, I think I got a deal on it. This was about $60. That includes all of this business here, new bolts. I'm sorry, that was a different set. Just the Moog, which is a good brand. And I got a great buy on it. It comes with the ball joint already installed, which is great. The bitch was getting these bolts out. Now, if the if the bolts line up with the spaces between the spring on the control arm, it's easy because you take the nut off and you can drive the bolt out this way. It comes out that way, and you take the nut off and drive the bolt out this way. The problem, the strut comes out very easily, and I'll show you. There's 3 nuts up top, 1, 2, 3, and then there's 2 down below, 1, 2. And that's all that is that holds that strut assembly in place. So you can take that out, and it only takes a few minutes to do. It adds to the job, but getting these bolts out was a bitch. One of these I broke, and then it actually had rust frozen inside. There's a metal sleeve in the inside of this bushing that's inside here. And it had frozen in there, and to get the thing out, I hit it with a hammer. I slammed it and slammed it, and finally, the way that I finally got it out, I mean, when this is not attached any longer, and you can move the control arm up and down around the bolts that are installed here, so you have a little leverage, and then you watch the heads of these bolts go with you, so you know that the thing is locked inside here. And then, of course, I tried cutting through here to get cut the bolt off and then pull the thing out. There's no doing that. So ultimately what I ended up doing, and I'm not sure whether it was that the rubber had adhered to the bolt or not, but I ended up taking lacquer thinner and keep on brushing it in here, and then working with putting a wrench on here and moving this up and down and that back and forth until I loosened up whatever was holding inside here, continuing to hit on the end of it, whenever I would stop, but putting a wrench on here and moving this up and down. And this was the harder of the two, but it happened on both sides identically. So I'm just telling you, if you run into that problem trying to change it yourself and you're saying, well, what the hell's going on? This either rusted to the center bushing over here where the bolt actually rusted to the inner sleeve, or the rubber has adhered to the bolt and it won't allow it to move one way or the other. And that's what I ended up doing, because I think that the lacquer thinner actually attacked the rubber so that it would release it. And finally I got the thing out. And then I have a little air impact gun to knock the bolts out. But that's just a side note of how to do that. And then, of course, I said to take this out is quite easy. I actually took this fender liner out, which only requires, there's like 4 or 5 screws around the outside edge here. And then these things here, this is a Christmas tree type fastener, which just plugs in. It goes into a hole. Whereas these there's a centerpiece, so there's like a wedge. So what you do is I have a fork type tool. It's a trim tool that you can get underneath and pull out that plug, which then will allow you to get underneath this lip and pull the whole piece out. I can show you one of those also, but I'm just saying. And there's 1, 2, 3. I think there's one up here somewhere. 4. I'm missing one there. 5. There's like 6 or 7 of these things, and then this whole fender liner comes out. Allows you very easily to get into here. Plus, you can actually get accessibility from up above, but it's still you can't get any unless you get a long extension. You can't get any leverage, to get those nuts off. But these aren't hard to get anyway. Those 3. Then the lower control arm. It was easy. These bolts did not freeze up, the ones on the bottom. They came out very easily. Sway bar link, I'm going to replace this. Here it is here. This connects to the lower control arm and to the sway bar, which goes underneath here. I've also replaced the sway bar bushings, which are over here. There's one on this side and one on the other side. Unbolted that. That's an easy job, very easy job. Anybody can do that easily. You might have to take this off in order to take the pressure off the bar, and then there's just 2 bolts holding on that bracket. You slip the new bushing over, put the bracket back in place, and screw it all in tight if that's the issue. There's a lot more stuff to take out for the lower control arm, including this is a 4-wheel drive, so this is the drive axle for the front. and you pry off this cap on the outside. There's good videos on how to do this all, but you take a screwdriver, you stick it in here like somebody's done over here, you pry this thing off, you tap the end of that with a soft hammer just to make sure that you're not, when you take your rotor off, that you don't pull out your CV joint up above. You don't want that. So, and then you just move that stuff off to the side. But there's good videos on that. I'm just telling you the things to watch out for that I run into. And you must have a pickle fork to separate the ball joints. They talk about hitting the bosses. You take the nut off here and you strike the boss with a hammer and that shock will take it out. Well, let me tell you, it doesn't. You need to have a pickle fork, which is just a ramped, it's a fork that you can strike from behind, but it's got a ramp on it so that it cams the tapered joints apart. Like for this joint in here, this ball joint is tapered, and this ball joint down below, this is tapered. This one will separate if you strike the boss on the outside here. But for that lower ball joint, you've got to have a pickle fork. That's the only way, and you have to wail on it in order to get it out. That's my own experience. All right, so I'm going to take off the nuts here from above, from inside the engine bay, and then these two nuts here, or I'm sorry, bolts. This bolt here, and this bolt here. Where is it? Okay, I'm going to take off those two bolts there, and then once those are out, and you take this sway bar link out, then this whole knuckle can drop down just a little bit, and then you can move this boss this way. Once those are loose up at the top, you drop it down this way, and then pull it out from underneath on top here. Pull this down this way and then move it out this way and carry it, pull it right out of there, and then the new one goes in the same way. The only thing that you have to watch out when they go in is you'll see that this boss here is put in at an angle, and that angle must line up with the top of this angle here on that boss must line up with the angle on the top of the lower control arm here. That's the only thing that you have to really watch out for. But these bolts here will line up so that this outer bolt, when it goes up inside, will line up, and everything lines up, and it goes in very easily. So that's what I'm going to do. I can't hold the camera, and I'm doing this with my phone camera today, so I can't hold it and do that work at the same time. So anyway, I'll be back in a minute.